This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
And good evening, everyone. We are coming to you live from Buffalo Wild Wings here in Del City, Oklahoma for the latest edition of the Mid-Del Sports Report. My name is Jordan Ray. Great to be with you. And again, we're here at Buffalo Wild Wings where it's football season at your neighborhood Buffalo Wild Wings, wherever that may be. And with 64 TVs, beer, burgers, and, wings, Buffalo Wild Wings is the best choice to watch the game. So bring the gang and join us this season at one of our 9 metro locations. Buffalo Wild Wings, your home for any game. Roar. And then Keyline Productions, we will thank them for helping sponsor the Mid-Del Sports Report, brought to you by Rakita Kearney. Some of their services include merchandise, custom logos, flyers, and website designs. Their website is www.keylineproductions.com. And, of course, in October, support your local charities through Buffalo Wild Wings. Get 6 free boneless wings at your next visit with a $5 donation. It's part of the Buffalo Wild Wings Foundation. Okay, let's go ahead and get right at it here. We're going to talk Del City football. Joining back with us right now is the head coach, Robert Jones. First, we want to show you the Del City football standings. As I was telling Coach Jones, when you just got to look at the standings, and you should see, Jacoby, if you could put the standings on at 4. Okay, there we go. So Del City and Coweta, the only undefeated teams, the only teams with less than 2 losses. They are about to play in a week from now. Right now, Del City will be focusing their attention on Glenpool. But we could have a massive game next week that will determine the district champion. Del City remained undefeated last week with a 68-0 victory over, got the team wrong there for a second, Tulsa Memorial, and they got their 4th shutout. Okay, Coach, you're getting all these blowouts, especially at home. Do you ever get tired of them? Do you ever miss having a close game?
I mean, when you have the mindset that we have, that we obviously naturally with a common sense, you're going to focus on your opponents. You're going to focus on the schemes and the plays that they do. But our focus is focusing on ourselves.
Yeah.
So you don't really get too hyped with the wins. You don't get, no matter what the margin is, you're just focusing on yourself because we have so many things that we still have to improve on that we don't have enough time getting tired or getting complacent. We got to keep going because the goals that we want to accomplish, we have to do a lot of things different if we want to get those things done.
I believe since your Booker T game, that's the second game of the season, you scored on your first drive every time this season.
Yes, sir.
And so that's always important that just you begin to build and build.
Mm-hmm.
So on your first drive, what really impressed me was there was a sequence where River Warren was going to throw it to, I think, Rodney, split out. Then he looked away the defense towards the middle, went back to Rodney on the right side and found him for a big gain.
Yeah.
I think that shows, you don't see that many high school quarterbacks go through progressions like that, I don't think. What do you see there?
Well, first thing, he's ranked the number 1 quarterback in the 2024 class, so you're going to get those kind of plays coming from that. Secondly, he was under pressure. I believe it wasn't a bad snap. He was kind of under duress. I felt like guys got covered up. We kind of messed up on some splits and some alignment things, so it kind of put us in a tough situation. But he's always looking to throw instead of run, and we hadn't had that here at Del City. So you get that kind of talent, and you get a guy who studies films like him, a guy that's competitive as him. He knows where everybody's at, so that's the kind of results you're going to get. But he's just a special talent. We're seeing that this year.
I also noticed you were getting K.D. Palmer involved more on offense early on, it seemed like.
Yeah.
What can you say about his development?
Well, he's a sophomore. I had him on the show here before. I think he's a very special talent. I think he's fallen in the lines of what we had here the last, 6 years, that we always have a receiver, DB kid that could really make plays. He's very fast. He's athletic. He's strong. You can kind of tell that he has a different kind of style just because he grew up playing ball in Louisiana. I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying he's, better than Oklahoma kids. You can just tell it's a little bit different. So I think the sky's the limit for that kid. I think he's going to continue to grow, but I think this year we got to continue to get him the ball. With Braylon Adama, LaDainian Fields, Rodney, Rickland Holmes, we have so many other guys that are so high-profile names that people are going to focus on. He's that guy that kind of slides underneath the radar that can make some plays, especially in the playoffs, that can get us a victory.
And then I think in the first off, I thought Rodney, we're going to talk to him in a moment, but I thought he looked the best I've seen him in a few weeks since his injury.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
I think he's coming back. I think he's, if I'm being truthfully honest, I think he's about 80% of what he was. Not health-wise, just as far as when you get injured and you come back, it takes a couple weeks to get through the mental anguish that you went through that injury. So I think he's still working through that mentally. He's fully healthy. He kind of looked to what he was at the beginning of the season, but I told him that we got to get you back to where you were at Choctaw, and we're going to be able to see that this week if he's able to accomplish that.
I think it was your third drive.
Yes,
this
sir.
was interesting because you guys kind of backed yourself up every now and then with penalties, but then you still overcame them and scored. But there's something to coach on. There's a coaching point. What did you see there?
I just, at some point in time, we got to hold ourselves accountable. We've been saying this for years. We saw it my first year, my second year, third year. We put ourselves in a bind, and we make it harder for ourselves. So we have to realize that when we play against great teams and we're going to be in some games where it's evenly matched athletically, those penalties are going to show up. Yeah. And we saw it last year in the playoffs. So we have to understand that you got to be disciplined. You can't make those mistakes. We pride ourselves off C-Dep, and that's all about character and discipline. So when you get into pressure moments that you can't make mistakes, you got to grow up and not do it and not put ourselves behind the stick, because eventually that's going to bite us. Then we're all going to regret it because we know we're better than that. So we work on it all week, and hopefully the kids can transfer it. They're the ones going out there and playing, so they're going to have to take the bull by the horns and make that happen.
One thing I noticed is, you're forcing teams to punt left and right if you're not getting a turnover. And when you do, you settled, I think, mainly on Braylon Adama as your returner. And so what do you do with LaDainian Fields? Well, he's lined up as an end to maybe block a punt now and then. So I think that's going to be something interesting to watch. But on top of that, I want to mention that, and then the return Adama had for a touchdown.
One of the better ones I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's special, man. Him and LaDainian, I've had some talented returners, but to be able to go back and forth, and every time you're going to have an opportunity to maybe score or give yourself great field position, that's what we do. We just go back and forth. And at one point in time, I think LaDainian was averaging like 32 per return, and he was ranked nationally. I was like, wow. But that return that I saw Braylon Adama do, that was so special. He's just a special talent. I think he's under-recruited. I don't know I don't know where these universities are looking or what's going on, but I know I've been watching football and coaching football for 18 years. That kid's a Division I player. I think guys need to open their eyes. It seems like every game he's making some eye-opening play, but that return was special. It was almost Sports Center top 10 type special. That was pretty nice.
Well, I'm also going through the Carl Albert games, and they got those D1 players. But I'm thinking they're great, but Braylon can hang with them. I think
Braylon's on the same level. I think he's on the same level as LaDainian. I think I don't like name-calling other people's players, but I think he's on the same level as Tristan Haynes, Trey Washington. Every D1 guy that I coached against in Oklahoma, you can't tell me a kid that's just straight off better than him. So I don't know what's going on, but I think everything's going to work out. I think once people see the finalization of his film, I think he'll have some opportunities. So I hope he take care of the things he needs to take care of, grades and the classroom and character.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch what happens with him. And then, of course, LaDainian can still be useful when he's not back as a returner. So I'll be interested to see if he can get close to any punts there.
Yes, sir.
And then also, a two-part question here. First off, your fourth shutout, and I think what makes that a little impressive is it's you're going to take out your starters on defense at some point in the second half.
Yeah.
And the other team, they don't want a shutout, even if they don't. They're not worried about the final score. They know they're going to come up short in that game. Yeah. They still want to get points. They still want to get something positive on offense for them for next week. And you guys don't let it happen.
Yeah.
So what can you say about these shutouts you're getting?
Well, first of all, it starts with the game planning. Me and Coach Kelly do a good job meshing our minds together and coming up with a great plan. Secondly, it's the athletic ability and speed that we have. And we're very disciplined. We're very hard on those kids, and we push them pretty hard during the week. And we have it too deep to where if a guy's not doing his job, you're going to come sit by us. And that's the mentality we coach with, regardless of the talent, regardless of how many years you've been starting or what offers or whatever you have. You know you need to do your job, and if you don't, somebody else is coming in, and that person coming in, he might not be this superstar talent, but he's a good high school football player that's going to get the job done surrounded by other talent. So when kids know that they have to play a certain way or they're going to come sit by you, I've always said the bench is the best coach in the world. So our kids know that. So that's kind of the mentality that we have when our twos go in there. They know themselves that, hey, we got a freshman, we got somebody younger than you ready to come in if you don't do your job. So it's a trickle-down effect when all the kids know they have to do their job. We got that culture really established defensively. We're trying to get that established offensively. We're still working through that. So hopefully we can get that as we progress through the playoffs on the offensive side as well.
All right, let's bring in the two players you brought with you. One is Tavon Johnson making a return trip.
Yeah.
We're happy to have him back.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go and get you guys on there.
I can't hear.
All right. Is that better?
You can't hear?
It cut out.
Okay, let's see if we can.
Oh, there we go.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it, man?
All right. No, that's some technological issues
That's
on our
all
part. Rodney Fields is also with us here. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Tavon, so what's it like having Rodney back versus other running backs? Because you're often a lead blocker, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it different with different running backs as far as what you have to do, or is your job the same no matter what?
My job's really the same. You know, I try to get out there and lead for whoever's running behind me. You know, we got a bunch of people who can run the ball. So,
do you feel like have you gotten more comfortable making contact, seeking out? I guess you normally would seek out a linebacker.
yes, sir.
Correct. Have you gotten more comfortable with that?
Yes, sir. I got the script down now, so I know all the plays.
Very good. All right, Rodney, great to have you on for the first time.
Thank you.
How is your shoulder feeling?
My shoulder's feeling great. I feel like I'm back to where I was from the start of the season.
This is Rodney's first time?
On here, yes.
Oh,
he
wow.
came to the media day.
Okay.
So, he's been interviewed before on the network, but first time here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I didn't know that.
All right, so Rodney, you and LaDainian, which one of you two is older?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a year younger.
You're younger,
Yeah.
but you guys have been playing together since you were little.
Yes,
I assume,
sir.
right? Yes, and I remember River Warren's parents came on and talked about how he played against them, the Fields cousins, in like 6th grade level or something like that.
Yeah.
And they also really love you as their coach.
I appreciate the kind words.
Yes.
I really did.
But Rodney, have you played running back your whole life? Was that your position from the beginning?
When I was little, I played running back, receiver, and some linebacker. And I've just been sticking with those since.
What's it like playing on a team where, because you got River and you got the chemistry's developing with LaDainian and Braylon and others, and it just opens up things for you, and you guys are able to sustain drives. And, I mean, you didn't have that in the past. So what's this year been like for you? I imagine you're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it feels good. It's a whole lot of weapons. So, like, if I'm not doing great, I know my other teammates going to back me up and help me out with that.
Yeah.
Very good. And have you been able to make some trips to Stillwater amidst all this?
Yes, sir. I go to every home game I can.
Go Pokes, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Everybody was ready to write us off, weren't they?
Yeah.
K-State and Kansas. Everybody was ready to say, hey, we need to fire Mike Gundy. Hey, y'all need to let him coach, right?
That's right. Well,
Yes.
they figure out their quarterback position
Yeah.
somewhat.
Oh, yeah.
Tay, do you have a favorite college team?
OU.
Oh, you okay?
Wilbur Sooner, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Pokes.
there's a lot of house divided around here. So
Yeah, it is. Bandwagons.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what position do you play on defense?
Defensive end.
Okay. And do you take it as a point of pride that you guys have 4 shutouts this year?
Yes, sir. Of course.
And have you had a highlight so far? I mean, like as far as, quarterback pressures, a tackle for loss with a running back, a sack, anything like that?
Yeah, I got a couple tackle for losses, a couple sacks every game. I'm just trying to flush the QB, make him throw it fast, get our DB some picks.
Yes, sir.
Rodney, do you get ever impatient when you against Choctaw? You were out there from the word go, like you were just out there. We all could see you were playing at this high level. And I guess my question: do you ever get impatient? Like, man, I really want a long run here. I mean, you had it against Midwest City. I saw that up close, a 70-something yard run, 60, 50, whatever. But some games you have to just take the chunks you can get, right? So,
Yes, sir.
do you ever get impatient? Like, man, I want to bust one here. with the mentality?
I'll say yeah and no, but like every time I get the ball, I want to score.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I have the opportunity, that's what I want.
Do you find that you had your injury, but do you also find that when you can rely on your passing game and stuff, does that keep you more fresh throughout the game?
It takes hits off of me, so like that helps out.
All right. Well, I gotta say, I can't wait to see what you can do at Oklahoma State. We got a lot of Del City games still left ahead of you here. Coach Jones, and I'll ask all of you this: what do you think about Glenpool?
Well, Glenpool's a good team. Their coaches. I think this is maybe his third year. You can constantly see improvement each year. You're gonna have to go out and go play. They're pretty big up front on both sides of the ball, and they get after it. I think we'll have the skill player advantage, but I think our offensive line and defensive line will be challenged, and we'll be able to see where they're at this point in time in the season. We're going into our 8th game of the season. You should be playing great technique. You should be knowing your assignments. You should be knowing what you need to do. So it's going to be a great test for us up front. Our skill guys, when you have the advantage, you got to go out and dominate, and that's the name of the game. That's the name where we want to be, and that's our standard. So I'm ready to see if they can go out and dominate, knowing that they have the advantage, and not get lackadaisical or get complacent because you think you just can show up because you got the DC on our helmet. Especially with everybody, everybody's talking about us. Everybody's just picking us to go play for a state championship. I've heard that a lot around here before. This is not the first year I heard that. So we have to understand that that's not going to get you there. What's going to get you to a state championship is good technique, playing with great effort, having character in class, and being able to be coachable. So I'm excited to see if this program and these kids this year could be able to do those things.
Yeah. Tay, what do you think? Glenpool?
I think we need to go in here treat us like every other game and not play down, look down, come out, O-line, D-line, be physical, DBs, skill players, do their job.
Well, I know you'll keep your guys accountable then, based on what I'm hearing there. Rodney, what do you think about Glenpool?
I feel the same way as Coach and Tay. Treat every other game how we do, and we can just treat every other game how we do.
All right, one last question for you, and I've asked other people this. What is, Rodney, your second favorite sport?
I used to play baseball and basketball when I was little, so I'll probably say baseball.
I bet you could swing a bat
fast,
pretty well.
So I like running.
You're also pretty strong, so I bet you can hit with some power. All right. Well, what's interesting, Coach, and I can't help but look ahead. I know you can't. You don't have the luxury, but this week we have a game on the network that's going to determine the District 2. That's Carl Albert Guthrie.
Yes, sir.
Next week will be probably you guys. I see. I'm not going to look at a Glenpool, but that's going to be a big game.
Regardless, because they got one district loss.
Yes,
Coweta does, I believe. No, they don't.
No, they're undefeated.
But regardless, even if we have a loss, it still would be the district championship. Because if we beat them, it'd be a tiebreaker. So regardless.
Yes. So we got that game, and hopefully Midwest City Elgin in 2 weeks. So we're very fortunate here at this network to have these games coming up.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Coming up, we hope to talk Del City girls wrestling.
Yes, sir.
That's right. It's that time of year. You're watching the Mid-Del Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes, call Rob and Will.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
All right, welcome back to the Mid-Dale Sports Report. All right, we're getting ready for winter sports, and that includes girls wrestling, which is becoming a bigger and bigger sport every year. We're going to start with Del City, of course, girls wrestling. And joining me is their coach, Orlando Ricaldi. Okay, Coach, first of all, tell us how you got to Del City.
I was born in Mexico, but I came here when I was in junior high. And the first place that we came to was in Del City. So I grew up going to Del Crest. Once I was in Del Crest, I started wrestling in 7th grade under Coach Kevin Garcia. And while I was in Del Crest, whenever my freshman class was passing through, that's when they decided to move us to the high school. So I was the first class that got 4 years with Coach Ronnie James.
Very good. And so wrestling's in your blood then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how long has the girls program for wrestling been at Del City High School?
As far as I know, the girls program has been there it's been 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been 4 years. I just got there on staff last year, and I was coaching the junior high a few years ago.
Okay. So second year here, have you noticed the numbers has it gotten more popular within the high school?
Yeah, there's a few more girls that we've had come in and try out the sport. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of hurdles trying to learn the basics and trying to get with other girls that have already been part of the program. But a lot of the new girls have been making a good effort.
Do you try to recruit some girls that are wrestling for the first time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what's kind of your pitch then to them? What's some of the things you want to sell people on when it comes to girls wrestling?
What I love about wrestling is the self-reliance that you learn from it.
Yeah.
So what I like for them to learn is that they can come in with us and learn how to take care of their body, learn some discipline, and those are traits that they can carry with them, after they've graduated. That way they can get into a healthy lifestyle.
All right. And how do you feel about what you've seen in practice so far this year?
Oh, man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
A lot of the kids, Jamie and I just got there last year. They were with Coach Davis the last couple of years. But we got there last year, and a lot of them just weren't ready to work as hard as they can. But they've stuck with us, and they've all come ready to work this year. It's really exciting to see what the girls got ready and the boys.
All right, let's talk about a couple of the wrestlers we have at the table now. We're going to get one more in here. So who do we got with us?
My name is Sorrel Hurd.
My name is Chloe Daniels.
Okay, Sorrel, really glad you're on. So, Jacoby, if you would go ahead, and I want to show you this video we saw on the internet. You recognize this?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I thought that was awesome. This is coming. This is you after you won state. Did that pose come naturally to you?
No.
All right. Here's another picture we have of you here. And this was sent to us. Do you remember what match this was?
My final match.
Yes. Okay. And then one more picture we have of you here. This is you at the podium, and I guess you get to hold a poster of your bracket. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how many matches did you have to win to get to be the state champion?
Well, you have to go to regionals, and then after that, you get to go to state. So I think I wrestled 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, at state it was 3, but for regionals 4, right?
Yeah.
So it's about 7 matches,
Okay. And what class was this?
All class. For girls last year was all class. This year they've separated into large and small class.
It's very, very cool. Well, I thought that was cool. And how long have you been wrestling?
5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
What made you interested in the sport?
I saw my brother do a move in this match, and I was like, that's really cool. And then I was scared to go, and then one of my teammates, he encouraged me to go, so then I went, and I just never got out of the sport.
Very good. All right. And what year are you?
2005. Oh, you talking about?
Well, you're going to graduate, I guess. What's your classification?
2025.
So you're a junior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we may have a couple more state championships. All right, and then was it Chloe?
Yeah.
All right, Chloe, how many years have you been wrestling?
2.
2, and what got you interested in the sport?
Sorrel, yeah. So in middle school, I had heard a lot about her from a previous coach of mine, and it made me want to wrestle. So I just started.
What do you like about it?
I really like the teamwork, like working with your team. I really like that. The sisterhood, I like that.
Very good. Do you have any other? Do you play any other sports?
Yeah, I do track and I do tennis as well.
Track and tennis, so two spring sports.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a busy time for you then.
Yeah.
All right, let's get one more person on here. While we're doing that, Coach, what are some big events? And this is we're going to get is it Kylie? Okay, Kylie, if you could just go ahead and walk through the camera here. That's okay. We'll get you on at that last test set. But Coach, what are some like notable matches or whatever that you would want the Del City public to know about, so they can come check out your team?
I'd like for them to know that we have our first tournament in November in Edmond North. That'll be our first open tournament, and in December we'll have a duel that will also happen in front of the school. It'll be a tri-duel, so we'll wrestle against 2 teams in front of the class, or in front of all their classes.
All right. And how many times will you be wrestling at home at Del City, at Del City's gymnasium?
At home, I think we'll be having at least 7 home matches.
Okay.
We had a lot of away events last year, so this is the year that we're primed for it.
Okay. So we also have, is it Kylie?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Kylie, what grade are you in?
I'm a senior.
Senior. Okay. How long have you been wrestling?
About 5 years.
Okay. What got you interested in doing it in middle school 5 years ago? I mean, it was still in its infancy then for girls, but you decided to give it a chance. What led to that?
At first I was doing football, and the wrestling coach, who I've never even heard of before, I didn't even know we had a wrestling team, came up to me, and he really wanted me to come out and try it out, and I did, and I just fell in love with the sport. It was just something that I just wanted to do, so I quit doing football and just transitioned into wrestling first thing, and then kind of just stuck with it.
So from football to wrestling, you like those physical sports.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say, how did your season go last year?
I think I did pretty good considering our circumstances. I definitely did a lot better than what I've been doing, and I'm finally starting to find the confidence to go out there and just do the thing. And I feel like this year it's going to show, and I'm going to do really good with our coach.
So one last question for Sorrel and for Kylie. What's practice like? Is it really intense? I mean, how would you describe the challenges you have on a daily basis in practice, especially starting in October when practices get to go longer?
When I practice, I had a soft practice, but going to the high school, it's really challenging. I do have teammates to push me every day, so it's really tough, but I can get through it.
For me, I practiced majority of the summer, and then I ended up injuring my knee, so I was out for a little bit, and when I came back, I was out of shape. So I'm slowly getting back into shape, but it's a really high-paced practice, and it's keeping us on our toes for sure, but it's really good. I'm glad we're finally getting a coach that actually cares for the girls, that wants to actually push us.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you very much for coming on, and we got a state champion here in Sorrel, and Kylie, we hope you have plenty of success as well, and looks like you got a good program with these returning wrestlers, Coach.
Thank you.
So we look forward to following how they do throughout the year. All right, we want to thank you for coming on. And coming up next, we talk Midwest City Bomber football and girls wrestling. That's coming up. You're watching the Mid-Del Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
I want to start a car mechanic shop.
Let's say we go to Scissor King.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go. But it's a great space.
Yeah,
and it's so close to downtown.
You want to go grab something to eat? Let's do it.
Time to do last Wednesday or last Friday?
You got it.
I think she was from
One,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Rose State college graduates.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Welcome back to the Midday Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network. We're here at Buffalo Wild Wings, where we're here every week. And, of course, it's football season at your neighborhood Buffalo Wild Wings with 64 TVs, beer, burgers, and, wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is the best choice to watch the game, best place to watch the game. So bring the gang and join us this season at one of our 9 metro locations. Buffalo Wild Wings, your home for any game. Roar. And, of course, we want to thank Keyline Productions, creating your custom needs. We appreciate Rakita Kearney for helping sponsor the show. And some of the services they provide are custom merchandise, custom logos, flyers, and websites. Their website is www.keylineproductions.com. All right, and, of course, one more thing we want to make sure you know that you can come to Buffalo Wild Wings in October, and it's your chance to donate to charity. You can support your local charities. In the month of October, get 6 free boneless wings on your next visit with a $5 donation. All right, let's talk Midwest City Bomber football. Of course, we want to start with the standings. And thanks to Midwest City's big win, let's pull that up. They are tied with Lawton MacArthur and El Reno for second place. Elgin is taking the pole position right now with a 4-0 record. So a lot of different possibilities amongst those 4 teams, as there's still some games against each other, including El Reno and Lawton MacArthur this coming, or Thursday, or tomorrow, I should say. So but we want to focus on the Bombers. They're going to take on Ardmore, and I'm happy to be joined by their defensive coordinator, Tyler Cade. All right, Coach, just talk about all the areas where your team improved from the El Reno game, or on the defensive side, from the El Reno game to the Lawton MacArthur game.
Oh, definitely. We saw some huge improvements. El Reno had a great running back, great offensive scheme, really good offensive lineman that could get out there and pull and cause some problems. So we spent a lot of time seeing at the Lawton Mac. We knew that their strength was a good ground attack out of 2-back personnel. We call it 20 personnel. And so we just knew if we could, fix the run issues that we had against El Reno, get our run fits fixed, tackle the running back, the multiple running backs they have, but definitely tackle number 0, that we would have a good fit. So we spent a lot of time securing our run fits, and making sure we were good on the pass game as well, but we emphasized across the board as far as what we got to do defensively to take away the run and make a team one-dimensional, and I felt like we did a really good job of that last Friday.
And what was interesting is you're first of all, you're without Darian Rogers.
Yes.
What type of what do you miss when you don't have him out there on the field?
A lot. A senior leader, an athletic guy. Like I said, not only an athletic guy, a vocal leader. He was a guy that really got the linebackers, got the whole defense going, So that was a little bit of drop-off as far as some of our leadership stuff. But guys that are sitting here next to me, like Ross Jones, they'd stepped up as underclassmen. Had to move Aiden Brown, who was a Viper, who's been on this show before. Had to move him down to the will position where Rogers was. And I feel like we didn't really miss, didn't miss a lot. I don't like not having Rogers. He's a great young man, great football player. I miss him being around right now. But, we had guys, younger classmen, step up and fill his shoes. I felt like did a great job for us.
Yeah, I thought Aiden Brown had one of his best games.
Yes.
And then, what makes you switch him out from Viper and put Felix in the Viper spot?
Just because of the past, before we started the defense with the Viper, Aiden had played outside linebacker, will linebacker before. So he'd been comfortable being in the box player. So that's one thing I like about Aiden. He can play safety, he can play linebacker, he can play rush in. He can do a lot of things for us. So I feel comfortable, if we're in a tight spot, I can move him or a lot of other linebackers. They're trained to play multiple linebacker positions and not just one. So I was not happy losing Darren Rogers, but we have guys that feel comfortable in those positions, so that makes us good on the road or good from going on out.
Yeah, and Kewan Landrum was great. I thought. How would you grade your defensive line, though? I thought they made some big plays.
Yes, huge plays, especially sacks. Number 90, Hakeem, he had 2 sacks, I know, on the night. We had a long stat sheet. We had 22 guys getting stats the other night, and that's one thing I was proud of. We had, we got to play more than 22 players, and they all got on the stat sheet. We had some big sacks and big TFLs by Nathan Bryant as far as our defensive line. So, for us, if we're going to control the line of scrimmage and start those guys up front, and we kind of challenged them last week about being able to spill the football, and they met the challenge. And we're going to have the same challenge this week versus Ardmore because it's even tougher as far as in the phone booth type running.
And then, so a couple of areas that maybe you feel like you can do better at, or maybe you like where you're at. So, but first off, for the secondary, I thought they played pretty well, but there was a couple of times where Lawton MacArthur went deep, and they had a guy that got the separation.
Oh, definitely.
And especially there was once on a 3rd and 20, and after that play, he took out the corner and gave him some quality coaching.
Yes.
I thought that got better in the second half, but what would you say about some of those plays?
Yes, and that's his eye discipline. That's, keeping because we play a lot of man coverage, a lot of man free. And so it's keeping your eyes on your man. Let the guys in the box take care of the run. You stay on your man. And that's just getting I don't know if you're getting bored with your job because there's times they weren't taking a lot of shots the other night. But when they did, like you said, they were getting 3 or 4 yards past us. And Coach Cade was not getting very happy about that a couple times. So, this one thing we talked about this week, they're going to try to lull you to sleep with the run game and then hit you over the top. So that's one thing we worked about this week is, your eye discipline has to be right. And don't be that guy that gets beat and cost us. And the same thing on with the linebacker position. If we feel like a guy cannot get his job done there, we have somebody that we can put in there. It's one thing we have on defense is depth. And so we think we've got the right guys back there this week for the scheme to cover them deep shots because they're definitely going to see it again.
And the other thing is, I feel like sometimes – other teams have had success the last couple of weeks with the quarterback keeper.
Yep.
And I don't know if Ardmore runs a lot of that, but how do you feel about that aspect?
Oh, definitely. We've been seeing a lot of quarterback draw, like empty quarterback draw, and they've been, spreading us out, hitting us in the A and B gaps. This week it's going to be a quarterback run game, but it's going to be more under center, tight end type stuff, running power, counter. Now, they will run the quarterback sneak, and that's as crazy as it sounds, as a simple play that is, they get big yardage off the quarterback sneak. They'll be 1st and 10, and no quarterback sneak and get 7-8 yards. So that's one thing we talked about all week and been working on practice-wise is taking care of the quarterback run game because he'll pitch you a little bit this week, but we're going to see a lot of quarterback run game all night long, and that's one of our keys to victory is taking care of that.
All right, you brought another one of your starting linebackers with you here, so go ahead and introduce the young man, and what can you say about him?
Yeah, this is Ross Jones. He's played this is 2nd year playing linebacker for us. The cool thing about him and our defense, we got some cool names. We got the Viper we were talking about earlier. He plays our spinner linebacker, and so he's a linebacker. He's an outside linebacker, but he's also a guy that we move around, I don't want to give away our secrets, but we move him around in the box where he can play certain – he's kind of like an extra D lineman. You just don't know where he's going to fit at. So there's times we can blitz him off the edge. There's times he's in coverage. There's times he's going to be on the back. So he gets to move around a lot. And so to us, it's kind of like that Viper position. Our Mike and Will are kind of in the box, stagnant guys, where this guy gets to roam around and cause problems. And he had a great stat line the last couple of weeks. He's been flying around, making the run fits need to be where they need to be. Yeah. And, earlier in this year, he was just playing our Will linebacker. And I thought, we got to get him on the field. We can't let him stay on the sideline, so we moved him to our spinner linebacker position. He's done a great job of picking it up. He never has hardly any busts. We start asking questions. He has all the right answers. So he's been a great surprise and a great help for the Bombers this year.
All right, so you heard that here, guys. When you look at the starting lineups we list, and we have by Ross Jones the initials SLB, it's not strong side linebacker. It's spinner linebacker.
Exactly.
I'll have to remember to say that. Ross, thanks for being with us here. What do you like about playing? The way you describe your position, it sounds like you got to be pretty intelligent, but you got like a chance just like everyone else to go out there and make plays. What do you like about the position you play?
I get to be very physical. I get to move around a lot, communicate my other D linemen and linebackers, secondary. So I like moving around a lot.
And you were playing some last year as a sophomore, and it's not every sophomore gets that opportunity. Were you playing linebacker before as a freshman in middle school and all that?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and what do you like when it comes to the fundamentals of playing linebacker? What's some of your favorite things? Is it blitzing? Is it taking on the run? Is it covering the running backs and tight ends? What would you say you like most about it?
I would have to say taking on the run.
Okay. And how do you feel about the year you've had so far?
I feel like I had a good year so far. Could be better. I'm going to make it better. So
Good.
Yeah. All right. Well, and so do you determine where you're going to line up based on where the H-back or tight end is? That pretty much what determines where you go?
Yes, sir.
So you've probably seen some good ones that they'll oftentimes – are you often accountable for that player? Is that how it usually works?
Yes, most of the time, yeah.
Okay. I mean, Coach, we don't really talk about stats, but now we played a lot of the season so far. Who are some amongst your leading the tacklers?
This young man sitting here to the right of me, him, Kewan Landrum, and Aiden Brown, and then plus our safeties, Jalen Woody, Josiah Johnson. You know, those guys are kind of our leading tacklers each week, which is if the linebackers are making the plays, we're doing things right. You know, the safeties are making too many plays. Maybe the ball's maybe getting a little too deep. But also, we got to credit our defensive linemen. You know, we've been asking them to sacrifice their bodies and go spill that football, you know, to take on those blockers, make that ball bounce. And so they don't get credit for those stats. But those stats, that's what gives our linebackers so many good stats. But when I get that stat sheet every Saturday morning or Friday night, I hope to see the linebackers all being the lead tacklers, because that means our fits are where they need to be. And, you know, hopefully the corners aren't the leading tacklers, because that means they maybe threw the ball a little too much for us.
Yes.
But, you know, we do a good job. We play a 4-linebacker system, you know, with one being a kind of hybrid D, like Ross being a hybrid D lineman linebacker, one other one being a safety / outside linebacker. So we have a lot of opportunities to put guys in positions to make plays every week. You know, we're excited about this week coming up. It's going to be a tight end football, power football, so we get to see something new than what we saw the last 2 weeks, last week for sure.
So, Ross, how vocal do you have to be as at your position, or is that something that Kewan or Aiden does more of, as far as talking to the rest of the team?
Well, most of the time it's all three of us. We all talk to D linemen, secondary, get the call around, all that. Now, other players on defense, including some linebackers, will play some on offense. Do you want any on offense, or are you glad to get the rest you get? I'm glad to get the rest I get, but if I had to, I will go on offense. Okay, and what would you do? Fullback. Yeah, you know what? We need good fullbacks. Of course, we got Isaiah Jones, Nathan Bryan do that too. Ross, here's a fun question. What's your second favorite sport? I'll have to go powerlifting. So do you do that during the spring? Yes. Okay, very good. And what's your best lift of the three? I have to say squat. Okay, what's your high then in the squat? I think 365. Okay. That's the number of days in the year. All right. That's how I'll remember it.
That's a big number.
Hey, you got me beat. All right, Coach, you've already talked some about Ardmore, but anything else? I mean, they're a flex bone team, so I assume you got to practice pretty differently against them, right?
Yes, we do. We got to have you got to have a dive player, quarterback player, and pitch player, across the board. So, like I was telling our team, it's a great test. It's something we haven't seen. And it's similar to El Reno, but El Reno was more just give it to number 3, run a lot of outside stretch power. Where these guys are running a true triple option. So we got to have everybody accounted for. We're going to change the fronts up on them as much as we can to make it tough on those offensive linemen and make it tough on the quarterback's read. But they play a 2-quarterback system. They'll play number 9 and number 13, an older guy and a younger guy. So and both of them can handle the ball and make positive yardage. So we got to be ready for the quarterback run game. And this week we're going to kind of load the box and see if we can take care of that.
Ross, when you hear the run the flex bone, do you get excited?
Yeah.
What do you think about Ardmore?
More run. They're a pretty good team that we can't take lightly. We just everybody got to do their job, line up correctly. I'm betting they're different than Noble, so you'll have some variety as far as what you'll see in the next few weeks.
Before we came on, we were talking about Noble. I said we're going to go from one extreme to the other, from a flex bone to the spread.
Yes. Well, I look forward to seeing it. I didn't mention this, guys, but all our football games this week because of fall break are tomorrow. So the Del City game's tomorrow, and then Midwest City at Ardmore is tomorrow. Who knows when these teams will play again? It's been a while. I don't know when they played last other than last year. So rare chance to get to go to Ardmore. They'll be going down to 4A next year. And so, you won't see too many chances to do that, and I'm looking forward to that trip. I'm looking forward to watching the team. They need it. They needed to keep pace with either Lawton MacArthur or El Reno, whoever wins in that matchup, and Elgin. All those teams will be playing on the Oklahoma Sports Network, I might add. And hopefully Midwest City can have a big game against Elgin in a couple weeks, hopefully for a chance at first place. Okay, Coach Cade, thank you for talking football. Ross, it's great to see you and talk to you, and hope you have a great game tomorrow. And, hey, guys, listen, Coach Cade's not going anywhere because in a few minutes we're going to talk Midwest City Girls Wrestling with him, and we're looking forward to that. You are watching the Middale Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and asked yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes,
call Rob and Will.
Welcome back to the Middale Sports Report. Like I mentioned about a half hour ago, winter sports are now upon us as far as practicing after school and all that and getting ready for their season, which usually really picks up after Thanksgiving. But we want to go ahead and look ahead to that right now, as most fall sports are behind us, with, of course, one big exception. And to talk, we're going to talk girls wrestling tonight, and to talk Midwest City girls wrestling. Hey, he didn't go very far. Tyler Cade is also the girls wrestling coach at Midwest City High School. All right, Coach, we talked a little bit about this before, but this is the, I believe, third year of the program?
Third year of the program, yep.
So when you got to Midwest City, was that part of it? Was it a package deal, or were you looking to become the girls wrestling coach?
It was actually kind of a last-minute deal. You know, I've always worked with wrestling in the off-season as assistant coach. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when I came over to Middle City as a football coach, I had the opportunity, they could say, hey, you can wait on a wrestling deal or do the track deal. I was like, well, I'm going to wait on a wrestling deal. And then they didn't have any boys assistant at the time, so I was just kind of hanging out. And fortunately, you know, the district came up with the girls wrestling program. I found out about this time 3 years ago, about mid-October, early October. They said, hey, would you like the opportunity to be the head girls wrestling coach? And I jumped all over it because it got me back in the wrestling room, got me an opportunity to grow the sport, which is one of the biggest sports growing right now in the United States. So, you know, I've enjoyed it, and our numbers have been growing every year. So, again, this is our third year going into it. It's, you know, my fifth year being in the room, so I'm excited to be there.
I'd already interviewed the Carl Albert wrestling coach, and he said that I think last year was the first year for Carl Albert. It was sanctioned by the OSSAA. Is that the same with you guys?
Yes, it is. And then every year they're adding a little bit more legislation and more rules to get it more like the boys wrestling program. Because there for a while, you know, there was no classes. It was just, you know, pretty much go to a tournament or go to regionals, and it was everybody. Well, now they're trying to get better, getting some classifications going. So we're excited for the future.
Absolutely. So What were some highlights last year? So it's your second year, first year sanctioned by the OSAA, so I guess that means you get to go on some, some serious events. Not that they weren't before, but what were some highlights coaching girls wrestling last year?
Definitely, every tournament we go to, in wrestling there's weekend tournaments every week. Well, now, used to there was no some would have girls division, some wouldn't. But now it's like every tournament we're going to, the PCOs, the Carl Albert tournaments, I'm talking about those Chickasha tournaments. There's always a big girls division from girls from across the state. So some of our wrestlers like Megan Aaron, she placed last year at Carl Albert, or excuse me, at PCO. Chickasha, our heavyweight wrestler Kylie Everett, she placed at every tournament we went to, either second, third, or fourth. We had a newcomer, Skylie Craner. She ended up placing at a Chickasha tournament and the Carl Albert tournament. So they did a really good job throughout the year of each weekend battling and winning tournaments. Unfortunately, you got the regionals. Regionals a little bit tougher because, again, a lot of girls, not a lot of classifications. But the competition's a little bit tougher, so we didn't get to where we need to be in regionals, so we missed out on state. But I think going in this year, we got a veteran crew. We got more girls out. We got all those returners back. So I'm really hoping we get the opportunity to finish top in regionals and get the opportunity to go to state.
And of all those girls you mentioned, are any of them back?
Oh, yeah. Megan Aaron's back. They're all back. Megan Aaron, Skylie, Kylie's back. We've got to move in Alexa Thompson from McLeod, who's going to, from talking, I've been in football kind of back and forth between football and wrestling, but talking to wrestling coaches, she's going to have a great job to get on the podium during regional state. And we got 8 girls in the roster. I mean, we went from having 3 girls the last 2 or 3 years to having 8 girls now. So that's a big jump for us, and we're excited for the season. And
you mentioned football, so how do you balance that in September and October?
Yeah. The good thing is wrestling, they don't start tournaments till November, till about there's open tournaments the first couple of weeks, but they don't start, sanctioned events till about late November. So usually, hopefully our plan is we'll be in the playoffs then, and that's a good problem to have. We're in the playoffs and they're starting season. We work at them between me and Coach Walker, kind of work out what we need to do. But they know as long as we're in football season through November, almost the majority of my time is going to be there. What I do, the wrestling room is right by the football field, so I try once a week to swing through there, get my eyeballs on some of the new girls. Also look at, I like to help with our boys and assist with them, so I'll see how the room's looking. We've got some new assistant coaches that really can help get more eyes on our boys and girls. So I try to go through there once a week and just say hello and walk through. Obviously, sometimes we're at Rosefield, we're not around there, but just do my best to get through there and say hello and make sure they know my face.
Do you try to, since it's a new sport and you're going to have some girls trying it for the first time, do you also recruit girls on the campus?
Oh yeah, always. We usually we'll make announcements 2 or 3 times a year. We always have open sign-ups. It's like you said, it's a new sport. We're open to giving anybody opportunities for that. So we also go down to the middle school at the end of the school year, and I say any girls that would be interesting, go ahead and sign up. We do a lot with our junior high program throughout the year. They wrestle dual matches before us, so I get to see the middle school kids, the boys and girls, that are coming up. I try to make sure they're staying in the program, that we don't lose them in the next couple of years. So I'm always recruiting the hallways, always recruiting the middle school. It helps that when we go to these tournament now, there's just as many girls as there is boys, so they get to know these other girls, other schools, so they feel more comfortable. Where it's not just 1 or 2 girls, there's hundreds of girls now when we go to this thing. So it's making the sport grow and making it more comfortable for everybody week in and week out.
Yeah, I would imagine, of course, you teach PE, so maybe you see some girls there that
I do. I've tried to recruit some basketball girls too. So
well, that's a tough one there.
Yeah, I know.
There's a conflict with basketball.
Oh yeah.
How many events do you expect to host?
We'll host an open event at the beginning of November. We'll host an open event there. Then usually towards the end, we'll do help out and host some middle school events. We're not hosting any regionals, any big events, but we do host a big open tournament the third week of November. And it's a good opportunity for all our kids to compete at our home place, and so we get them there, get them signed up and ready to go.
Are they called duels when you just bring in one school?
When we bring in one school, yes, it's a duel. Yeah, okay. And we'll start those late November, and usually we'll do 1 school or 2 schools will come in, and we'll do 2 duels at one night. Yeah. So we and that's another deal. Used to when a team would come in, they wouldn't have any girls. Well, now we know coming in a week, day or 2 before, the coach will call me or call their coach and say, hey, I've got 3 or 4 girls at this weight. Do you have 3 or 4 girls? And we get some matches, even though they don't sometimes count towards a duel. It's getting them more matches against other schools, against other girls. So it's grown that way as well.
Yeah, and does any of that coincide with boys events, kind of like you will see with basketball, girls game and a boys game?
Yeah. So there's a duel going on, and we want to get some girl matches in. They'll do it either before the duel or after the duel. So the boys will go in the middle and do their point deal. Some schools it's so big they have their own dual teams. And my girls are always on me about that. I'm saying, well, hell, you got to find me 12 girls, so and we'll do a dual team. But there's schools, Moore, Bigsby, Tulsa Union, that they have enough girls where they actually have their own dual schedule. We have to go kind of with our boys, and then if they got some girls in their team that want to do some exhibition matches, we get them in.
Do you have to coach the girls any on strength and nutrition when you get them in?
Yeah, when we get in there, that's part of wrestling is cardio. Big part of wrestling is cardio, and I think that's the biggest adjustment for a lot of them is, we work them out together in the wrestling room as far as running and the plyometric stuff and I'm trying to think of the push-up type stuff, you know what I mean? Yes. And so that's a big adjustment for them to get the mental fortitude, the mental toughness. That, it's hot in here. We're going to push you, and once they figure out they can break that wall, it makes those matches much easier.
All right, it sounds great, and I'm looking forward to following that. And you mentioned some of those girls wrestlers coming back. Hopefully, if this show can continue on to January, which that's still to be determined, but we can have you back with a couple of those lovely ladies.
Yeah,
talking about
I'll give them some notice and get them here, and I know they'd love to be here. So we appreciate it. We
love that. All right, well, Coach K, thank you for being with me for almost a full half hour there, and switching hats there from football to girls wrestling. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Carl Albert football is coming up in a few. You are watching the Middle Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network.
When it comes to your home, you need someone that you can trust to keep it safe and protected for you and your family.
Vesta Foundation Solutions is your local, family-owned company that has helped many homeowners fix and protect their homes.
Our engineered solutions can take care of all of your foundation repair, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and dirt crawl space repair needs.
We take pride in getting the job done right, and you'll always be protected with up to a 75-year warranty.
Contact us today for a free estimate.
Car mechanic shop.
Let's say we go to Scissor King.
Ready to go get some coffee?
Yeah, let's go. But it's a great space. Yeah, and it's so close to downtown.
You want to go grab something to eat?
Let's do it.
What time to do? Last Wednesday or last Friday?
You got it.
I think she was from
One,
Rose State.
2, 3.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Rose State college graduates.
Welcome back to the Middle Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Once again, we're here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Del City, where we are every Wednesday, and we really enjoy it. It's football season at your neighborhood Buffalo Wild Wings with 64 TVs, beer, burgers, and wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is the best choice to watch the game, so bring the gang and join us this season at one of our 9 metro locations. Buffalo Wild Wings, your home for any game. Roar. And we want to thank Keyline Productions, creating your custom needs. We thank Rakita Kearney for being one of our sponsors for this show. And some of the services that they provide are custom merchandise, custom logos, flyers. You can get help with your website. Their website is www.keylineproductions.com. And a reminder, of course, month of October, it's your chance to give back through Buffalo Wild Wings. You get 6 free boneless wings on your next visit with a $5 donation, part of the Buffalo Wild Wings Foundation. Okay, let's go ahead and get right to it. Carl Albert football. Happy to be joined by the Carl Albert head coach, Mike Dunn. Coach, first of all, I want to apologize for my wandering eye, but my Texas Rangers are losing behind you there on the screen. Yeah. I know you Carl Albert guys are rooting for Philadelphia.
Right.
So I'm wondering if those teams can somehow get to the next get to the series against each other, if there'll be like a big caravan from Carl Albert going to Texas to watch that.
Oh, man, that'd be really cool. Really cool.
It's not often it's that close.
Right.
But right now the Rangers are in the hole right now. So
what's the series right here? What's the count on this one right now?
Well, the Rangers do lead 2-0 in the series. But that's the big thing. They're down 3-0 early right now. So we'll see if they can come back.
Got it.
Game 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and show the Carl Albert standings. And we're already going to hype this up here because there are 2 undefeated teams left in the district, and they're undefeated overall, Carl Albert and Guthrie. That is the matchup. We're going to get to that game here in a moment. But as you can see, Carl Albert has the maximum number of district points, and so does Guthrie because Guthrie has played 1 less game. Carl Albert will have a week off after this, and Guthrie still has 2 more district games here. Okay, Coach, let's go ahead and look back at the Bishop-McGuinness game. Carl Albert won 49-7. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Coach Jones. Do you ever get tired of all these blowouts?
No. You know, we did talk a lot about playing a 4-quarter football game and being in a dogfight because that game always is. And, you know, some things snowballed early, I think, for McGuinness and just got behind. You know, we kept our foot on the gas there and had a really good first half. But, no, I mean, you do want the experience for games, you know, just like what we're gonna do tomorrow night. It's going to be a 4-quarter dogfight, and you want the experience before you go into those games. But you're never gonna. Anytime you get a win, they're all too precious, you know, and it's hard to do, and you put a lot of work into it. And so when it happens like it does, and when you get a big win, you know, you're always gonna enjoy it. So,
absolutely, and you know, I got to ask about Tristan Haynes. I'm hearing he's going to, you know, I heard before the season that he's going to play defense at college, and now I'm watching him on offense, and I'm like, why?
Right. Well, you know, he is kind of
doing so good.
He's kind of that. You watch Travis Hunter, you know, and yes. Deion's kind of an unconventional coach, and it takes a guy like that to maybe make that more of a thing in college. But Travis Hunter's doing it, you know. And if you got a weapon, then use him, you know. And I know teams really like him at the next level as far as what he can do in the return game. And so obviously, if you're a guy that's electric with the ball in your hands, why not have some stuff in there for him to do both? You know, he wants to play defense in college, but I know he would be just fine with playing offense, you know. So I could see that happening.
And you'll throw it to him short, you'll throw it to him deep. How do you see teams are going to have a tough matchup with a shorter cornerback on him. Do you see teams that are they giving him a lot of cushion now, or it just depends?
Yeah, I think it depends on what teams are comfortable doing, you know. I mean, it depends on what they do week in and week out. It's hard to go in and make just special adjustments or do different things that you haven't done all year, you know. But I think you'll get different kind of looks, and people will start keying a little bit more on him, and you know, just a chance for other guys to step up. And I think I keep saying it every week. We got a bunch of guys that are selfless, you know, and there's guys that are okay with other guys getting the limelight and other guys making plays and celebrating each other. So, but no, Tristan, he's a phenomenal player.
And we'll keep talking about phenomenal players. So my who's that for you guys, now hear me out on this because we've already talked about the name many times, but that would be Marcus James. And this time when I'm saying Marcus James, I mean lined up at receiver.
Yeah.
Not tight end, but, you know, I mean, sure, these days, you know, those type of players like Travis Kelce in the NFL, they can line up all over the place.
Right.
But he had an amazing touchdown catch lined up as a receiver. And I suggested that, hey, I think he's going to have his day at tight end. You said that will happen, and it has happened on offense.
Right, yeah. He's a guy that we like to move around, and we did that last year quite a bit with a senior tight end that we had last year, and we like those guys to be multiple. Marcus is good in the backfield. He's a good lead blocker. He's great in line, and then he's very talented even when he's outside. You know, it's a big time matchup problem. He's 6'4". I mean, and he's got great hands. I mean, even he's caught 2 or 3 touchdowns this year that were either called out of bounds or there was a penalty on. Or he told us he was cursed after the Shawnee game, and he said every touchdown he's had since he's been in high school has been called back. And then the following week in Southeast, he had a clean one, had a touchdown, and then obviously last week caught a big one there. And he again just a guy that can do a whole lot of things. He's a unique athlete and keeps getting better every week.
And like you said, I also started watching him as a blocker more, and he can do that very well. So, and what's interesting is he'll be the first, I guess, of those 3 juniors, skill position players, whatever you want to call them, that will announce their commitment. He said he would today. He was going to do that, I guess, 2 weeks from 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yes. I think that's what he had talked about. I didn't know if he had put that out there or not.
He did put that out there.
Yeah, he talked about doing that on November 2nd, which is a Thursday.
Yeah. So anyway, something to look out for there. And of course, we don't want to forget about Trene. He had also a big catch that was not a touchdown; it was just a little short of the one. Okay, but with all that said, Coach, this passing offense with Kevin as the quarterback. You've been around a lot of teams. Where does this rank amongst the teams you've been at as far as the ability to pass the ball and spread the ball over the field?
Well, and I've coached at a lot of different schools. When I was down in Texas, I coached at 5 during my 12 years there, and so I've seen plethora of offenses. I coached with a guy as a head coach now at Rockdale High School in Texas, and he was a Tony Franklin guy, and so we threw it around probably 70% of the snaps. We still ran the ball pretty effectively. Head coach there was Clint Finley, who Joe John Finley is a coach at OU. They're going to run the ball. So we ran the ball still, but, and then I've been a part of offenses that were like what Nevada used to do with Colin Kaepernick, pistol offense, and ran it probably 70% of the time. And then, I think one of the things that's a big strength for us is our offensive coordinator. He's going to call offense around the strengths of our kids, and obviously Kevin can make all the throws. Kevin is very accurate. I mean, we looked at the other day, Max Preps. You can put stats in on Max Preps, and he'll do a QBR for you, which you see that in NFL a bunch. And his QBR is 145, which is just off the charts. And so, for us, we just want to be really balanced. We want to be able to do both well, and we want to be able to take what a defense gives you. And I know that's cliche, but right now, while our ones have been in the game, we're very, very balanced. I think it's 55-45 right now. And so we feel really good about where we're at offensively as far as just getting better every week and working on things that are deficiencies and trying to fix those. And kids keep stepping up every week. And we got a lot of weapons out there, so we try to spread it around. That's another thing. Kevin, I looked at the Max Prep stats a couple days ago, and we've thrown the ball to 10 different receivers. So we've got 10 different receivers that have catches on the season. And so that's a big credit to Kevin, spreading it out, taking what's open. His completion percentage is 72% right now, which is really, 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 really good. And he's been effective, and he can hurt you a lot of different ways. So I'm really proud of where our offense is, and I'm really proud of we take what we're given, and that's we don't try to force anything, which is always good to see.
Is there any credence to this line of belief that if you feel like there's a chance you're going to blow out the team, you like to throw the ball early because you're limited to throwing the ball late if you're up by a lot?
No, not really. No, we don't really go into any games with that kind of mindset. We try to go into every game that hey, we're gonna run our offense, and we're gonna again. What are they giving us? We're gonna call offense based on what are the looks we're seeing and what are they doing? What do they do well? So that's how we look at it. We don't really look at it that way. There are things that you go into some games and you might say, hey, we feel really good about this, and if they don't change what they're doing, we're going to do it. And if that's the case, it's a little bit different. But we don't really go into a game and say, hey, we know we're gonna win this one big, so let's work on this. We don't really do that.
And then, of course, the run game got going but you're running Kevin more and more, and then with Xavier is there as well. Do you find that that's basically a way to stay multi-dimensional within your run game?
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt. I'm a deep at heart. I'm a defensive guy first, and as a defensive guy, and Coach Cade would tell you the same thing. It's quarterback run game is hard to account for, and it's an extra hat, and it's just extra design. there's a lot of misdirection there, and so it's dangerous, you know. And Kevin is very dangerous with his legs as well, and so I think that's a key component to our offense is that's there, you know. And we haven't had to run him very much, and you know, we're going to take what they give us, and so really that's what we call offense around, and that's what I'm really proud about our offense and our offense coordinator and our offensive coaches is they do a really good job of figuring that out throughout the week.
Yeah, and you're keeping X fresh, and you know we talk about all these big name players, so we don't want to overlook all these units that you have going well for you as well. But your defense, just a general overview. I mean, they forced McGinnis to punt mostly. I don't know if you guys forced any turnovers in the second half. I just watched the first half. But what do you like about your defense so far?
Well, I think just defense alone, not even counting special teams takeaways, which on special teams I think we're probably in the teens at this point in takeaways. Whether it's a kickoff that we get back or if it's off of a punt block or a field goal block, whatever it is, we've got a lot of takeaways in that area. But I think offensively, when I looked at our big board the other day, I think on the year we're plus 22 in the takeaway turnover ratio, and so that's always a good thing. And I think we had a couple there. I can't remember exactly, but I think we had a couple against. I think we had 2 interceptions against McGinnis there in the first half. And you know, our defensive unit, it's a group that puts a lot of time into it. They put a lot of work into it. Those guys are film junkies. Coach Herbert, our defensive coordinator, I mean, I can't say enough about the job that he does week in and week out and the time and the attention to detail and what he puts into it. And he takes it personal, you know. And those kids match his intensity, and those kids are passionate like he is. They see how he approaches the game. And I think our kids take that same attitude, which our entire defensive staff, you know. You've got Coach Corley, who's been defensive coordinator, head coach. You've got Shane Farley, who's been a special teams coordinator for a long time. It's one of the best DB coaches I've ever been around. And, you know, we've got D-line coaches, Jimmy Wilkerson, Coach Vinny, Coach Evans, Coach Bourne. We've got guys that have done this at a high level and do a really good job. And so that the defensive team gets better and better every week as well, and really proud of the growth there.
Yep, and so ends the Bishop McGinnis rivalry. I think I look back at Max Preps. You mentioned them. I believe it started. It didn't start as far back as I thought. It started, I think, in 2012. And this is a rivalry that it is one-sided, but it is still interesting that these teams played 5 times in the postseason. 2012 in the semifinals, and then 4 out of 5 years, Bishop McGinnis and Carl Albert met in the state championship game in 2016. So 2012 and 2016, I think Carl Albert lost to McGinnis in the regular season, came back and won.
Yep.
And then you have the games in the other years. So, and then the last 2 years, those were classics.
Yeah.
At Bishop McGinnis. So, and then now they're going to move up to 6A. I'm assuming you guys will probably not be playing them in the non-district. So,
no.
What are your thoughts about what the type of rivalry that's been?
Well, that's a game that we're going to miss. I mean, it's always a game that we circle. That's a fun one, and it's a big-time atmosphere, whether you're at our place or you're over there at Pribble Stadium, and it's always one that you can look forward to, you know, being a classic game and being a hard-fought, a tough game, and two teams that have a healthy respect for each other, but will go and get after each other too. And they've got their licks on us, and we've got ours on them. And it actually goes back to when they first got into 5A, early 2000s. I want to say that was 2004.
Okay.
It was their first year in 5A, the first time, and we played the very first time we played them. It was an instant classic. It was one of those games where one of our defensive line coaches, his name is Mike Evans. He was a senior that year, and we had to throw a pass to Mike in the back corner of the end zone to win the game, and he had to dive and catch it and caught it, and it was last minute of the game, and then we went and got a stop on defense, and that was the very first game against McGinnis, which is pretty par for the course. It was a classic, but yeah, we're gonna miss that rivalry. We tried to keep it in the non-district, but they had already signed a couple of games. They're going to do some out-of-state games, I think, and playing a couple other Bishops in Kansas, one in Texas, and maybe one in
Kelly, maybe.
In Kelly, yeah. So they've got a schedule that's chock full, but you know, maybe down the road that'll get picked back up. If they go back down to 5A, then maybe we'll be in district again together. Yeah. But yeah, we'll miss that rivalry.
Yeah, so they came back in around 2012, and so that's been going for a while, and so maybe they'll come back again, but yes. But one thing that seems to always be a constant is Guthrie.
Yeah.
That's another – that rivalry, I don't know when the last time you guys didn't play each other was, but that's had to have been a long time.
Yeah.
And this goes to other sports. I mean, they've been in the same conference in basketball. Now they'll be in the same district. Baseball, they've been in the same district for a while.
Yep.
And so we look ahead to that game. And Guthrie that's the opponent this year. The key number with Guthrie is 3 points. That's not their average points per game. They've only given up 3 points for the whole year. So, Coach, this looks to be like one of the best Guthrie teams we've seen in a while. How do you see it?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any doubt that they're a special group. Defensively, they're really, really stingy. They fly around. It's definitely a Kelly Beebe defense. It's a Kelly Beebe football team. They got a lot of respect for Coach Beebe and what he does there, and his kids take on his personality. They're hard-nosed, they're tough. They fly around on defense. They move around, and they're going to swarm the football, and they play it. They do a lot of the same things that we pride ourselves on. And offensively, they've got playmakers, and obviously Jelsma Stadium is a tough place to play anytime you go there. And like I said, I think out of all the teams in Oklahoma, I think Carl Albert has played Guthrie the most. It would be close between probably Guthrie and El Reno maybe, but I think we've looked it up before. Coach Beebe and I have talked about it before, and I think it's Carl Albert Guthrie is the most games for, at least for us, I know. And it's somewhere up there like in the 50s, and we've only been, I think this is we call our team is Team 61, and we've played 50 times at least.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a big time rivalry, and it can go either way every year. It doesn't matter. This is another one where you throw out the rankings, throw out the records, throw it all out. It's one of those games that it doesn't matter, but just so happens to be this year we're both undefeated and both at the top of the district, and both trying to secure a spot in the playoffs and get a good seed. And so there's a lot of things on the line there that make it even a bigger and better game.
Absolutely, and I know Guthrie has to be one of the teams that has the most behind Carl Albert, the most state championships in 5A too. They've gotten quite a few. Though they haven't won one in 10 years, but this is a team that's definitely a threat.
No, there's no doubt.
And so this is the big game on the network tomorrow. A lot of games on the network tomorrow. Del City, Midwest City, and then Carl Albert. That's maybe the game of this week in the whole state, because you don't have to throw out records like Coach said this time. Both teams undefeated in district, and if Carl Albert wins, they are district champions officially because they only have one game left. So they will have clinched the 1 seed, which I think they've done every year since 2017. And so that's, I believe, 7 if they can win this game. And then if Guthrie was to somehow win, they wouldn't officially clinch. However, there are 2 remaining games there, I believe, Lawton Eisenhower and Shawnee, so they just have to win one of those games and they would clinch. So pretty much whoever wins this game is going to be your 5A District 2 champion. So be sure to tune in at 6:30 to the coverage with Kirk Norman and Mike Goff, and then 7 o'clock for the game at The Rock. Very cool place to watch a game live and on television. That background, there's nothing like it in Oklahoma. So be sure to come and watch the game, or go to the game personally, or watch the game on the Oklahoma Sports Network, or do both. Big game there. So, Coach, thanks again.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, so we want to thank all the guests we've had on. This is not the end of the show, but coming up, I pre-recorded an interview with the Carl Albert wrestling coach, Kurt Hodges. So you're going to see that, and we'll talk girls wrestling. He'll come back next week, and next week, please tune in to the Oklahoma Sports Network for the Mid-Dale Sports Report for boys wrestling, a boys wrestling preview. But coming up after a commercial break, you'll see an interview I have with Coach Hodges talking about girls wrestling, and that will do it for the show. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Please stay tuned to that interview I have. Some really good stuff there. And after that, have a good night.
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
Red Plains Plumbing has been offering reliable commercial and residential services to the OKC metro area for over a decade. From new construction and remodeling to residential repair, they can handle jobs of all sizes. When you need a trusted name in plumbing, it's Red Plains Plumbing. Family owned and operated. Phone 405-769-1922. That's 405-769-1922.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed, because your success is our success.
All right, happy to be joined by the girls and boys wrestling coach at Carl Albert, Kurt Hodges. All right, Coach, we're going to talk girls wrestling, of course. And how many years has Carl Albert had a girls wrestling program?
This is our fourth year to have it. And, the first year at the OSSA was kind of a trial run. But then it's fully sanctioned. So, yeah, so we're early into it.
And when did was it something you were pushing for before that, or did it kind of fall in your lap? Did you find out, like, hey, we're going to do this, or how'd that work?
Yeah, it was, there was talk of it, and how the OSSA works, everything has to go through advisory and committees and everything, but it was catching steam pretty fast. And, the numbers have grown quite a bit. So it really was, you could see it coming. And so we fully embraced it. And knowing that we already had, one of the girls who was kind of a trailblazer in girls wrestling with Rachel Gober several years ago, that just kind of added to it in a sense. So it was nice to have really one of the key people who helped kind of get wrestling going for girls in Rachel in our program. So, but yeah, it was coming no matter, and it's growing fast.
Now the other Middale schools, I believe, have a boys and girls wrestling coach. How'd you balance the past 3 years handling both when it comes to both practice and then when it comes to, travel and events?
Well, the girls practice with the boys at the same time. So we just, as far as our numbers, since it's a little bit lower, we're able to practice together, which is good. And, so when it comes to travel, you got a few more weekends that you're going to be busy because the girls sometimes don't wrestle on the same or have a division that's girls and boys at a tournament. Our tournament does, so we actually get to kind of we get the 2 and 1. We get both of them at the same time. But so yeah, you're going to be gone more weekends, but it's well worth it. The girls are coming in and they're putting in the same amount of time and effort into it. And even if it's a lower number than some teams might have, I mean, it's all well worth it and stuff. So we knew it was coming, and we also knew that it was going to be a little bit more time, but it's part of what we do because we love it, and it's well worth it.
And when it comes to teaching girls wrestling, is it common to? I mean, a lot of them are new to wrestling, I assume, and it will be the case for you this year. Is it like teaching a boy that comes in wrestling for the first time? Is that something you were used to dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, I've taught, all kind of wrestling in a sense. I was at the middle school, junior high, and you have new kids come in, and then moving up to the high school, and I've helped out with Little League. So I've kind of had my hands, in a lot of different levels. But yeah, it really is. And we get new boys in every year too. So it really doesn't change at all. We don't look at them any differently. And so as far as the training process and teaching process, I mean, they come in with the same expectation is that, it's going to be kind of a system, and we're going to teach them the same way and, put them in the best position to win. And then we're kind of fortunate, our girls in the past, we've had 2 of them make All-State, and we've had several, had them qualify for the state tournament, even hardly without knowing much wrestling. So we feel good about what we're doing, and that, our development of them can get them to where they need to be.
Yeah, you mentioned some things that was probably going to answer my next question was, what were some of the highlights you've had the last 3 years of coaching the girls?
Well, we've had, Rachel Gober was our first regional champion on the girls side. And then she was selected as All-State in the first kind of selection that they decided when they were moving towards kind of trying to make it similar to what the boys were, the accolades for them and their achievements. And so she was our first All-Stater. And then last year we had 2 state qualifiers in Janelle Lynch and Heidi Schultz, and they both, Heidi was a newcomer. She came out in December, her junior year, not knowing anything about wrestling, and she qualified for the state tournament. And so she was a 2-time qualifier, and Janelle was a 1-timer. But this year, Janelle was able to, was selected as All-State as well. Heidi was the second choice. So we've had some success, and really it's kind of attributed to a lot of, moving parts, but really the girls were just great in the room. They learned, they loved it. They were happy to be there every day, and they really just had tremendous attitudes about being in the room. So really it was a lot of really what they had accomplished and what they did. And it was really nice to see them get rewarded. And now both of them are wrestling at Friends University.
Wow.
Which is also even, great. So, it's in a sense, it's kind of come a long way in a short amount of time. And there are more opportunities for girls to kind of wrestle on the next level. So we were glad that our girls got to experience that. And, their efforts at the state tournament kind of led to their recruiting and then going on to Friends University. So just really happy for them, but they deserved it. They really are going to be, they're going to be an asset to those programs.
So were these girls able to handle the challenges of, making weight? Because the perception is, however wrong it might be, that girls might be more sensitive about their weight.
Mm-hmm.
But was that something you had to deal with at all, or?
Well, a little bit. To be honest with you, Jordan, we don't encourage a lot of weight pulling. It's a big challenge. It takes a lot of discipline, and it's really hard. And most of them, it would be totally new to them to kind of start training in that mindset. So we kind of kept them close to, whatever they kind of came in weighing in naturally. We kind of kept them there. They might, on occasion have to just kind of be kind of disciplined the night before, just not get crazy. But most of the time we didn't have any real weight issues, which I'm thankful for, because it's a real challenge just on them. And, it's pretty taxing on their parents when they come home too. So it's just, you don't have to be a champion to pull weight, and it doesn't make you a better wrestler. So we just try to, if they were close to a weight, we're like, hey, this is where we're certified at, and this is kind of where we're going to be, and just eat healthy and work out well, and you'll be in a good position.
Was there ever a situation where you brought, your team to an event and certain girls couldn't wrestle because they didn't have opponents that matched their weight?
Not really. I mean, they have a format called the Madison system, which kind of, groups girls by weights. So every time this is what's great about the wrestling coaches, is that they would find ways to make these tournaments happen and make these brackets happen, even if there were less girls there. And so, I think that's really the key is, you have to find solutions to these types of things, just because it's new and that you're not going to have, a full bracket, but there are ways that you can, get competition for them and get matches and keep the kids, interested and keep them, with the sport. Last year, I think at our tournament, we had close to 80 girls, just in their divisions alone. And we were able to do some round robins and get them 3 or 4 matches on day 1, 3 or 4 matches on day 2, which is really kind of the end goal of what a lot of people are looking for, is they want to get the girls on the mat and get them some mat time and get them ready for state, just like we do the boys. So.
Now you told me before we started recording that you were kind of recruiting some new girls. Mm-hmm. What do you look for when you start to, pitch to a girl, hey, come out for the wrestling team?
Yeah, it's every assembly, we're pitching, girls to try it out. With athletics there at Carl Albert, we've got a lot of successful girls sports. So, the competition for athletes and, is there. I mean, it's, swimming's really popular. You got volleyball, softball. I mean, so, but really, we really want kids who just want to enjoy what they're doing. And, we tell them it is, it's tough. It is. It's just no other training can kind of compare to it. But we do, want them to know that it will be a good experience. It'll be a fun experience. We're just not all business and everything. We have fun, we joke, we make practice, challenging, but also rewarding. So we really try to just get it to where they look forward to coming into practice every day. And, I'll be honest, it takes a certain type of person, and the girls that we had in the past all, were very competitive, but they also were, they were sponges. They really wanted to learn and get better. And they would come in on Sunday nights with the guys on open room just to get more experience. So, that's the kind of person we want, is just coming in who wants to learn and wants to, give their best. And, we tell them, as long as they're giving their best, that's all we can ask for. And so we've been lucky there. But you have to be a little bit unique in the sense of that it is just different in the sense that you're out there by yourself, and you got to be well aware of that.
And what can you say about the girls that have come out so far? Whether there's any particular couple of names you're excited about, or just in generally speaking, what do you like so far?
We're just, like I said, they're kind of in that learning phase, and it's just, they're really green, and so it's, we're hopeful that it sticks, with them, because, at first couple of times, they're kind of like, I don't know, coach, this is so different. And it's, it's like I said, the practices are different, and just the types of things that we're doing just to, learn wrestling, because it's, your full body's working all the time, it seems like. So, we're just in the sense of, growing the program, we're really just trying to kind of just, if we can keep them interested in it and then let them grow a little bit. But, there's a couple of girls, we had talked to that, are in class, and some athletes in other sports. And they're, they're just trying to decide for themselves, if this is really something they want to do. And so we're just 100% supportive of it. And so that's why we kind of like her just in that early going phase. But I think, not to make any predictions, but if we can keep them out, I think they'll be rewarded with it. So.
All right. I had a dad of a Del City girl wrestler tell me, hey, we should show a big event at Carl Albert. So I don't know what he was referring to, but I'll ask you, what are some big dates maybe for, in particular for girls wrestling, that you'd want people to know about?
Yeah, our the Malcolm Wade tournament is the second weekend in January. I think this is going to be our 58th Malcolm Wade tournament. And it's on the boys' side, just to let you know kind of where we are, it basically features probably 10 of the top 15 teams in 5A boys. So it's a real competitive tournament, kind of like an early mid-season state, really. But those programs bring a lot of quality girls with them too, because they're all in the same boat of trying to develop along the same line. So Carl Albert tournament, January 12th and 13th. There last year we had numerous, state qualifiers and state placers in the girls' side participating on both days. One of them was from Guthrie, Kalia Clerk, and she was a 2-time state champion. So, and we had, like I said, a couple of our state qualifiers, and Stella Edison from from Glenpool was there, who was also multiple state qualifiers. So that would be a big one, for us as far as seeing the girls the most, and seeing some quality kids from the east side of the state come over to the west as well.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you next week about your guys. After all, you are the defending champs. So
yeah. Well, I want to say, well, also, Jordan, thanks so much for doing this for, these athletes, and, getting them recognition, and just all that the OSN does for these kids, because it's important, and it's great to see them being recognized. Appreciate all your hard work doing that.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Jordan.
Where sports is our middle name. We are the Oklahoma Sports Network. Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.